Hey, it's Aquila Mariyah here, and today I'm going to be discussing my life story.
I like to sit back and watch a tree grow. I like the way they think it's all growth, not an ego. I wish that you could speak to these.
If you're new to my channel, my name is Aquila Mariyah, and I'm a mindset coach. I empower women to believe in themselves by rediscovering their worth. If you enjoy the video, make sure you go ahead and hit the thumbs up button for the algorithm so that way it can reach more people. So let's get into it. So first I want to start off with saying when I feel awkward or slightly uncomfortable, I smile. Literally, I smile. Even at my mom's funeral, I was smiling while speaking in front of everybody. It's awkward and I start to smile. So when I was younger, I moved around a lot. Like my family and I, obviously, we moved around a lot. It was up until I got into 4th grade. And 4th grade, we got into a townhouse and then we went to a different house, but it was down the street from that townhouse. So we got to grow up in this other house, but we moved around a lot before I hit 4th grade. And now I'm in the same grade as my oldest sister, who's 14 months older than me, and my other older sister, who is some of the years she's my age and some of the years she's my other sister's age. My dad was very abusive, verbally, emotionally, and physically. And so, sorry Dad, if you're watching this, I doubt that you are. We witnessed him putting his hands on my mother multiple times. I do have a specific memory that does not and has not left yet. And I don't know how old I was, but I know that I was like very young, younger than 8. So yeah, my sisters and I, we grew up seeing my dad abusing my mother on a regular basis. Our whoopings weren't like regular whoopings. They were a lot harder. In my opinion, they were a lot harder. When we were very young, he used to wet our hand and then smack it, and it hurt, but I feel like that was like a normal kind of thing to do. But then over time, the whoopings just got worse and worse. But yeah, so that's what we grew up around, and it wasn't always bad in my family. I want to say that it wasn't always bad. We did have times where we laughed, we played, and then there were times it was like an either or. There were no gray areas. It was kind of rough growing up, and yeah, it just wasn't easy at all. He put his hands on my mom when we weren't present as well. I know there was a time where it was so bad that like anymore and she could have died. And my dad is, I just want to say that my dad is a really, really good person. He's made a lot of bad mistakes, and he's still continuing to make mistakes, but he's not like how he used to be. He does still get upset, but he's a lot more in control of his anger than he was back then. My dad I'm not making excuses, but my dad was like 5 kids deep. My oldest sister isn't his, but he was like helping raise her since she was 2. And so he was like 5 kids deep at the age of like 24 or 25. I'm 27 and I couldn't even imagine having one. I just wanted to throw that out there. He's not the greatest father. He's not. I'm not gonna lie, but he's a really, really good person. He's really, really smart. He just doesn't know how to actually be a dad. So my siblings and I, we all played sports growing up, pretty much basketball, as young as you can be when you first start playing. And at the age of 7, I decided that I wanted to play football. My mom said, "Do you want to cheer?" And I said, "No, I want to play football." And she was like, okay. She didn't want me doing it because she didn't want me getting hurt, but I really wanted to do it. And then my sister, Francesca, was like, okay, I'm going to do it with you. And so we played football on an all-boys team. We were the only girls, and I was pretty freaking great. I'm going to toot my own horn. But yeah, the second year that I played football, my sister didn't play with me. She ended up cheering instead with my now best friend. and I loved football. My most favorite sport to play is football. So I have 3 sisters and 1 brother, and all of us played sports growing up. Like I said, there were a lot of great times with my family. We wrestled, we played with water guns. We had a lot of fun. But like I said, also there was no gray areas. It was either extremely great or extremely bad and just not a good time. My dad was in and out of our lives. I think I can't say 100%, but I think it would be around times where he put his hands on my mom, and then my mom either put him out or he just decided to leave. I know a lot of times he just decided to leave. I remember hearing my mom and my dad like arguing, and then my dad trying to leave, and then my mom blocking the door and him telling her to get out of his way. And yeah, we heard that a lot growing up, like a lot. But yeah, my dad was in and out of our lives like most of our lives. Before the age of 14, it was in and out, in and out. At the age of 14, it was pretty much like he wasn't really there until I think we went to prom and graduated. I think. That's just what I remember. All of this was extremely traumatizing. I'm sure there's some still pieces that are lingering within me that I still need to work through. But although I laugh, this isn't like anything. Like I said, I get when I feel awkward, which sharing my life story is kind of awkward for me, but I do smile in awkward situations. And if you are somebody who is dealing with abuse physically, mentally, emotionally, please remove yourself from that situation. And if you can't, there are numbers out there where you can reach out to for help. And don't stay for the kids. I just have to like stress that. Don't stay for the kids. Trust me, the kids would rather you all be safe in a way than for you to stay in a toxic relationship and have them see that. It's not good. So remove yourself from the situation as best you can. So my dad was my coach for one of the years that I played football. He was my football coach. I believe I played football for about 5 to 6 years. I remember when I got to middle school, that's when I stopped playing because the middle school coach told me that I could be on the team, but he doesn't know if I would play. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And now that I look back on it, because my mom made it my decision, but now that I look back on it, it could have just been if she wasn't good, she's not going to play. If she's good, she'll play. But the way that I took it was, I'm a girl. He didn't want me on his team, and so he'll let me be on the team, but that doesn't mean that I'll actually be able to play. And so I took it as in it being sexist more so than it just being like, well, if she's good, she'll play. If she's not, then she won't, because he didn't say that. It was just more like, oh, you know. When I was younger, I was extremely annoying. Like, I was an annoying kid, and that was because I wanted attention, and it was because I wasn't getting enough attention at home, especially from my father, because he either wasn't there, he was sleeping. He worked nights, and so he would sleep during the day a lot of times, like most of the time. So but yeah, so I would always try to get attention by being annoying. And then if an adult or any like older person yelled at me or was upset with me or just raised their voice or talked to me stern, I would immediately start crying. Like, I would immediately start crying because I was extremely sensitive, and I don't know, I cried. I cried a lot growing up. Like, most of my life, I spent so much time crying. That's crazy. I was bored. I wanted attention. And so I did it any and every way that I could to get that attention. Whether it was bad attention or good attention, I did whatever. I used to spread rumors in middle school just because I wanted to. And those rumors didn't like go far. It was like hey, this person likes you. And then they're like, really? And I'm like, just kidding. So it wasn't like a rumor. It was just like annoying shit, pretty much. So now up until the 8th grade, I pretty much dressed like a boy. I don't know when I started dressing like a boy, but I was very much a tomboy if it wasn't obvious through the fact that I played football for 5 to 6 years and I had braids like Bow Wow did back in the day. And so people thought that I was a boy. And every once in a while, my mom would put like more feminine clothes on me, but I couldn't stand it. And then she would put pigtails in my hair, and I couldn't stand it. I didn't even like my hair being in a ponytail because I just didn't like it. I wanted to stand out, and I wanted my dad's attention. So I originally started dressing like a boy because I wanted to get my dad's attention. And then over time, it turned into, well, these clothes are like super comfy. So much more comfy than these feminine clothes. So I'm gonna stick with the boy clothes because I can do whatever the fuck I want to do in these clothes. In more feminine clothes, it'd be like skirts and stuff, and like you have to sit like a lady and you can't let people see your underwear type of thing. So it's just like, I'd rather wear these clothes and do what the fuck I want. So I dressed like a boy up until the summer of 8th grade. The summer of 8th grade was when I started dressing like more feminine. And I was younger than all the other kids because I was put in school like a year early. I'm not going to go into details as to how that happened. But yeah, so I was put into school early, and so I was younger than everybody else. So I don't really know how old I was going into 8th grade. I graduated at 17. I started high school at 13. So I was probably like 11 or 12. Yeah. I was either 11 or 12. And some kids did make fun of me for dressing like a boy, and then some kids were just cool with it. Like, my best friends were always boys. There was an older girl that I remember being best friends with, but like it kind of goes blank. And I remember my mom did not like me hanging out with her because she was so much older than me. And this was when I was in like second or third grade. I was hanging out with this older girl, and either her sister drove or she drove. And it's so weird because I spent a lot of time with this girl, and I cannot remember for the life of me how old she was, or like if she was like old enough to drive, because then it's just like, why was I hanging out with somebody that much older than me? But I do remember that the girl was older than me. My mom couldn't stand it, but I had a best friend named Tony as well. It's so crazy how you make friends with these people and then they just disappear. Literally just disappear. You don't see them again. But anyways, a lot of kids made fun of me for it, and some kids just accepted it. A lot of people just thought that I was a boy, and I wasn't. And I had absolutely no problem with people thinking I was a boy. I was just like, I know I'm a girl, so I really don't care. And when I got older, I did get embarrassed when my sisters would show guys that I was talking to or dating, or just any future guy friend, the fact that I dressed like a boy, because I'm just like, oh my god, this is so embarrassing. Like, why did I do this to myself? Most of my pictures growing up were of me dressed like a boy, so I was just like, oh, why did I do that to myself? But then I'm like, it was a phase, and I'm cool with it. Now I'm cool with it. I also never gave a fuck about school. Like, I just didn't care about school. It wasn't a thing that was on my mind at all. My family issues caused me to get in trouble at school a lot. I remember having to have my mom come in, and then obviously I was crying because it was like I was in trouble, but they were trying to understand what was wrong and all this stuff. And of course, like, my mom never told anybody the truth. Like, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and also hit the notification bell so that way you're notified every time that I upload a video. I upload Monday through Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you share with your family and friends. And if you are interested in one-on-one coaching, I am a mindset coach. And if you're ready to believe in yourself, gain confidence, and learn your self-worth, then check the link in the description below and book your free connection call today so that way you can start reaching your goals and living the life that you deserve. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you have a positive, blissful day or night whenever you're watching this. Thank you so much for your support. Always remember to be love, be peace, be positive, spread love everywhere you go, and always be you. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Growth, not an ego. I wish that you could speak to these motherfuckers.